No, I cannot.
Okay, there we go.
Can you
Can you
see
hear me
me?
now?
Yeah.
I can. Yeah, go ahead.
Turn your volume up.
How's that? Is that okay?
It's low. Well, we're going to get started. We want to thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining Frontline News. This is our first radio show, and we're super excited about what we have in store for you guys. I don't know if we're streaming live. We should be streaming live on Facebook. We welcome all comments. If you have anything to say, you want to share with us, we always invitive. We would like to have you a part of our conversation. Um, Frontline News is about bringing the news of the front line to into our communities, whether it's here across the world or whatever. We're not going to just limit it to Baltimore, but we're going to limit it to we don't have a limitation. We want everyone to join us in a revolutionary fight to fix things in our city, our state, our county, and across the world. So right now we have a co-host with us, Donna Tabron. Donna, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do and who are you about?
Okay, first I want to do a mic check. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so I am Donna, and I am the CFO of People Empowered by the Struggle, the Chief Financial Officer. I am also the Certified Life Coach, as well as we actually do a little bit of everything, including keeping our people updated on what's going on in our city, your city, wherever we hear the news. We do our research and we bring it right to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we also have an organization called People Empowered by the Struggle. We are a one-stop shop for all struggles. Whatever your struggles are, we help you. We bring people bring us to their need and we help them navigate through. Anywhere from housing, any type of issues. I mean, like I said, we are an organization with no walls. We're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't take a break for your birthday, my birthday, nor Jesus' birthday. We're always accessible and available. We also want to thank you. Thank you, Mr. Haney, and thank you, Mr. Randolph. Good evening from Tampa, Florida, and good evening, Mr. Haney. Um, you know, um, Basically what we're going to talk about today is the respect that people deserve. Um, you know, it's some back and forth going on with Merlin Mosby and Kim Klasick. Um, uh, Donna, you want to weigh in
Where,
first?
where do you start? Where do you start? So I haven't personally looked into it, and once you told me, I really would prefer not to, because um, queens fighting against queens is never acceptable, and going dirty and grimy, and feeling like, I feel like it's all a political battle, and I feel like politicians fight that way. They bring up your past, they bring up your dirt, things that you don't necessarily want. If I haven't exposed it about myself, like I don't think anyone should expose it about me until it's my time. It just makes me feel a certain type of way about people with the motives behind things like that.
Right. Um, I feel like both it was low blows on both ends. Um, it shouldn't have been said, it shouldn't have been dead, but we have this mentality: if you attack me, then I'm gonna attack back type of thing. And
True.
we know the whole point of an argument is to hurt people's feelings, but it should never have been done on social media at all. It should never been typed, because once we put it on there, it's hard to take back. People screenshot, throw it all up in your face and all kinds of stuff.
It
So
shouldn't have been done, period.
right, it should not have been done, especially the part about she's a clown and you're exotic dancer turned politician. That was low. And
Mhm.
my thing is that the slave mentality is saying that the house Negro is better than the field Negro. One sin ain't greater than the next.
Right,
Um,
and it's repeating itself.
Right. So, this is our leadership that we're talking about. And because of there's no correction and nothing being said, then people be what they see. And if they see disrespect amongst the Black people, the Black woman, we have been fighting this thing forever. Black women always is the low on the totem pole, turn hoes into housewives and all this kind of crazy mess, even down into slavery. We have been fighting forever to create a stance, and we have not gained momentum yet because of certain things that people have in our people want to display about our background. When white people do it, they did it just to get by in college. When Black
Right.
people do it, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. We're not going to keep doing this type of manic thing. I need them to fix it, come together, apologize to each other, and let's fix this
Absolutely.
city. The thing is how do we fix this city when we just left a year of, again, over 300 plus some odd homicides?
Because
Where's the
Yolanda,
plan?
when we are queens and we're going through our hurt and our pain, it brings about a lot of trauma for some of us that may have already, we may have experienced some of those things. And, to have those things brought up against us when it's something, no matter when or how, or, it doesn't matter if you ever made the decision to do it. If you're not there now, don't judge me for what I did then. Judge me for where I came from. Judge me where I am now. If you feel the need to judge me at all, because for me, it's a trigger for me. Because I know for me, I know where I came from. I know the decisions that I made. Not so proud of every decision that I made, but that's who I am. And that's who they are. And we want to meet them where they are, like whether they're broken, came through it, or, maybe Kim Klacik can, help some of these strippers that's out here that stop them, give them an opportunity prior to them having to make these type of decisions. Because for myself, I didn't have a lot of decisions. I didn't have a lot of opportunities out there. So I took the opportunities that I had. And unfortunately, we're judged for that. But where are we now today?
And what does re-victimizing keep looking like when we came out of this trauma and you keep sending me back into the same thing over and over again? It's no difference than recidivism. We don't want to keep having recidivism into trauma. And then we
Exactly.
wonder why, our streets look the way that they do. People be what they see. Our children see this and they mimic this behavior. And if we're not displaying ourselves as the godlike queens that we are, then, yet again, we're still fighting a losing battle.
Right.
Right. So if anybody want to comment, you can. We'll read your comment live. So do you want to talk about Larry Hogan or the crime in our
Mr.
city?
CNN, he's making all types of appearances on CNN.
But yet
And
he
I
refused
don't,
to shut the state down.
he refused. And where are we at now with the state, Yolanda, the positivity rate? Where are we?
We over 26%.
For this man to have said that he will shut it down at 5%, I know no one believed him. However, to be at 26% and there's still no decisions as far as shutting things down, when clearly people aren't honest about what their status is as far as having COVID or not. And a lot of people don't even get tested. They just feel like it is what it is. I'm not, I prefer to keep things very safe for myself and my household. So I am vaccinated and I wear my mask everywhere I go. And, it's your choice and your decision. But when you're sick and your family have to take care of you, and, I just feel like we are all collateral damage to these politicians. We are collateral damage. Our children are collateral damage. The hospitals are being overwhelmed. I don't know who watch the news and who don't, but the hospitals are overwhelmed. And, God forbid, we're unhealthy people in the United States. God forbid, we have high blood pressure or anything, and we get the Omicron. Like, thank God it may not be. God forbid, it may be, Delta, which is more deadly, so they say. But the Omicron, like the ones that's not vaccinated, they can be affected a lot more traumatically. And what happens to them
Donna,
when we're burying more of our family? What happens?
I don't know what happened when somebody just tried to call my phone and I told them that I'll be on a radio show. Um,
Yeah, it's a bit much going on out here. And Hogan,
Donna.
yes, can you hear me?
Well,
Can you hear
just
me?
like she said, we're all collateral damage. I'll see what happened with her in a minute. She's still on, but we have to figure out what happened. We are all collateral damage when it comes down to politicians. Nothing in our city basically is opened up, but you still have these little workers out here, and you still have them going to work every day, passing COVID along. We get so many phone calls from people that work in our city government and government period that do not want to go to work, that do not want to send their children to school. We're also the organization that's calling for the resignation of Santa Lisa's for failure to educate and safety issues.
Can you hear
Um,
me?
this is it's a sad day when we have to make decisions for ourselves. Donna, you're on mute.
Can you hear
It's
me
a
now?
sad day where we have to feel like we have to go against the system ourselves. As far as whether we want to face criminal charges of not sending our children to school into the belly of the beast, or you know, providing them homeschooling, which now the homeschooling aspect is so overwhelmed in the system now, due to so many people requesting for their child to be homeschooled, for their child to be homeschooled, and you know, it's over 3,000 people that want their children homeschooled right now, and that's not mentioning that was before schools closed. We have 376 schools across the state of Maryland before the holiday came in that came back with COVID. And your best option that you're telling us is that we're going to get tested. How about shut it down? No one has to be tested. You can save a lot of money with these test kits unless you're going to make the, and this is the another crazy part. We are now going to have to pay for our own testing. Um, if you have to take them to a outside entity, and your child cannot return back to school until they bring back a paper stating that they're negative. But how does that look in our neighborhoods? You have a child that's been sick in school that has to travel on the bus, however they have to get home. They sit in the classroom, they use the bathroom. The bathrooms is not being cleaned because they said they can't afford for the bathrooms to be cleaned twice a day. We also have an issue with the PPE. You saying that it's millions of dollars that went into PPE, but who are they going to? Because we're not getting it. Um, Wait a minute, Donna.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're
I
not.
don't know what happened.
We're not. Where's the money that they put in these millions and millions of dollars for PPE, when you're telling us that we need to send hand sanitizer to schools? You're not giving them the correct mask to wear. Now they're saying that cloth mask is not gonna do it. Everybody needs to have the correct mask. You're not even telling these people the correct mask to use nor get. You're telling them to go to the CDC. If I don't have access to the internet, or if I don't have any money to buy them, because N95 masks, or was it K90 something masks, they are expensive. If
But
I can't
Yolanda, you know
afford,
why? You know why? The reason why
why?
they're not telling you what type of mask is because it will create panic. And people will go out there and they will buy all of the N95 masks, all of the masks that they know is safer. They'll buy them up. And people like us won't have a chance in HE double hockey sticks. We won't have a chance. So they tell you it's better for you to put on any type of mask than to wear no mask at all.
Yeah, but the protection is not coming through the cloth mask. And I
It's
was just
not.
looking at a
It,
doctor's
it,
live
it's a
yesterday.
slight, protection, but it's better than no protection at all.
Well, we need to double mask, because they're saying that those little surgical masks, they're
Mhm.
saying that they're not safety because of the sides, and stuff can enter that way. And then they're saying now that through the eyes, you need to wear something over top of your eyes. We have no safety precautions to send these children back into a Baltimore City school, except for to stroke the ego of a woman who took her children out of school. Her children is no longer in schools.
It's not
So
only her though.
why else? I'm
We
gonna
got to
urge
blame the
every
rest of them,
parent.
Yolanda. She's not the only thing. Like that's only in Baltimore City. What about the rest of Maryland? What about the rest of the states that I'm reading about? Even ones that have a mask man, they created a law that it's like they for them not to wear masks, for them not to mandate in Florida. They created a law for them not to mandate masks in the schools, so you don't give the individual districts the opportunity of making the decision for themselves. You know, because some people aren't as affected in some places as others. And they're making the decision on common sense. You know what I always talk about? The common sense for them is the CENTS. The common sense for us is the SENSE. It's never the same. It only sounds the same. But they're using that technique, not the technique as far as what we need to save our lives. They don't care about that because it's not making them money. They lose money by these students not being in school. Once people realize you don't actually need to be in school for the amount of time that they have you sitting there, especially in the city, not teaching you anything. Once you realize and you wake up, as what they say, once you realize that, then people will start taking their students out of them schools in droves. They can't afford to lose that money.
Michael Randolph said Florida is crazy. That's why Trump is here. Oh Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Another problem that we're having is that we have too many politicians making decisions for us. And you know, I'm not a politician, even though I ran for mayor. I'm not a politician. I'm a people's titian, and I'm going to keep pushing that. My job is not to protect special interest groups, the money, or a special organization. My job is to protect the people. And that's what I will continue to do, to protect the people. It has to stop being about the money. I don't know how many times and how many platforms I had to stand up and say this, but at the end of the day, the only ones that suffer is the ones that pay the most taxes, and that's us.
I agree.
And I'm getting sick and tired of them. You know, basically, we have to make good decisions now. See, the sad reality is that if we put our children in harm's way, we will have CPS up our behinds. But they can put our children in harm's way and nothing is done to them. I just got a message today from Baltimore City Schools that say that my son is virtual. That says that, you know, they need me to sign a waiver that if he go into the school to take the test, that if he get COVID, then all responsibility falls on me.
But they covered all these organizations. That's why they shut the country down the first time, so they could pass these laws. Like a lot of people wasn't watching, but they passed these laws so these big organizations, the city, the state, Amazons, and you know all the big companies, they passed these laws so we cannot sue them. Now, why are they bringing that up when technically they're responsible? If my child had to come, if you're making it a responsibility for me to send my child inside of a school, you are responsible for their life. So their blood is on your hands. Their blood is on your hands. So I guess with the governor, with the assistant people when they die from COVID with funeral expenses, is that what that's about? But we need to get that word out because I know a lot of people don't know about that. Is that true, Yolanda? Did you hear about that? Yolanda. Can you hear me? Yolanda?
Donna, can you see me?
Yes, I can't. Can
This
you
is how
hear
you know
me?
people's not watching, doing what they supposed to be doing. Because if they was doing what they supposed to be doing, they wouldn't be calling me in the middle of a show. And I'm gonna have to, you know, basically.
So you can't hear me anymore?
I'm trying to figure out how to bring you back up, Donna. I'm new to this right here. I'm gonna need our peoples to bear with me for a minute. Donna, can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you even see me?
I can't hear you. Wait a minute. We're gonna have to work out the logistics of this. I'm glad this is our first show. Charge it to the head and not the heart. I'm trying to bring you back on, Donna. Hopefully she'll come back in. Um, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, remind me to hop in some of our team members behinds when we get off of here, because if I told you that our radio show started at 6 o'clock, you should not be calling me.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is it clear?
Yeah,
I'm gonna need you to mute your phone because every time a call comes through, it blocks me out.
I know. That's why I said, and you wouldn't believe who's actually calling me.
I,
Anyhow, let's get back to what we were saying. The governor he don't care about, the governor, Mr. or Mr. Hubbard. She's okay. And right. So let's go back to the governor. The governor seems to think that, it's because he put in all these millions and billions of dollars into vaccination, so he's going to sit up there and push vaccination. That's fine. But if you see that the vaccination and people are not gravitating towards it, then move on with something else. You can't force people to do or to put something in their body they don't understand. Just because you said it, don't make me believe it. I mean, our government has been lying to us for decades. So because you say now this is safe for me, then I'm supposed to keep putting it in my body. I know, Donna, you better not say a word. You better not say a word. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I will never tell people not to get vaccinated. But I'm just saying what it did to me. I'm not putting it back in me.
okay, that's you.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not
Because that
telling
is
people
not
not
a
to get the
problem.
vaccination. I will
I
never
didn't
tell
have
people
a
not to get the
problem.
vaccination.
My 19-year-old son didn't have a problem, and my 88-year-old grandmother didn't have a problem. You did, just like some people may. Some people may, but some people had problems with peanuts.
He said the feds is paying for vax, not the governor. So why is he making it seem like it's all his money that's coming up? I'm gonna focus on getting people vaccinated. So
Because
you're gonna put
that's where
more.
the money is. Listen, they got funds for everything. The funds that he's applying is funds that was sent to him directly for COVID relief. It was sent directly for COVID relief. So it's not like he's going to be able to take that COVID relief money and build a school. Nor would he. It's not
Yeah.
like he's
So
going to.
I feel like we're being punished for some reason. If you shut it down at a 5% last year and we're at a 26, almost a 30% this year, then why wouldn't you shut the state back down?
I just
Because
told you why. I told you why. The reason why they shut it down before is so they can cover these big corporations, so they can cover the cities, the state, and the local governments. That's the only reason why it was shut down before. Because if it wasn't shut down and them laws wasn't passed, then everybody would be suing their employer. Everybody would be suing the school. You don't have an option of doing that anymore because by law, they took that right from us. So they send you back out there, but you got to make common sense decisions for yourself. We got to make common sense decisions for our family, for our young ones. We got to make those decisions because they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it because our life is worthless to them. It's worthless.
yeah, well, I saying I feel like they're saying that we all can take the hit for the greater good, but I'm not willing to put my household and my family at risk. Me and my son battle all the time back and forth about, my social life. Your social life don't mean nothing over my life. And I
My living
choose
life.
me before I choose me and my health before I choose anybody else. Even down to my children, I choose me first. And that's what people have to do. You have people out here. Matter of fact, we was riding around, we had to go do something. We had a service call last night. And the one thing that I actually watched was a club that had a line wrapped around a corner. There was no social distance. And I got instantly angry. Because we cannot be that naive as people, or we have to feel like we have to be in somebody's face all the time in order to, because of a status. We're dying out here. First of all, what affects us the things that affects us the most? Hunger, poverty, health. Give me some, Donna. All these things affect us. Murder rate. And then now all of a sudden we
Wait a
got
minute, did you say mental health? You say mental health?
mental health, all that. And
Okay,
then we
because
have
that's
a
the big,
pandemic. Then
but
we
you,
have
you
a
got to
pandemic that
understand,
sits on
Yolanda.
top of all of this.
That's the layer that we didn't address before, that people made us feel like we was crazy when we, certain people, like we had to address that. We have to address that because a lot of our issues start with a lot of mental illness. A lot of our issues start with a lot of the wrong training that unfortunately we got when we were brought up. And that's why we tend to move the way we move and tend to stay in the same dysfunctional things, because that's what we know to be normal. But when we step outside the box, and or what I say, remove the box, and we start doing other things, because we recognize that the status quo don't work for everybody. It don't.
Mr. Haney said 90% of people catching COVID catch it at home. You're absolutely right, because people go outside, do dumb stuff, and then bring it in the house. And we go outside and we stand on corners, and we go outside and we go to
said they
clubs.
catch
We go
it at
outside and go
home.
to hookah lounges.
He said they catch it at home.
Yeah, people bring it back in the house.
But where did they bring it from? They didn't bring it from home.
Yeah, that's true. I don't. He said 90% of people catching COVID catch it at home. So I'm trying to figure. Well, I'm thinking that he's saying that people are bringing it into the home, which your children go to school, huh?
I said I hope so, because I've never heard of a virus that you can catch in your home by yourself. This
you got people on social media now saying they tested the water for COVID. They tested the water for COVID, and
the water has
COVID.
Called misinformation. Let's just because certain things don't make sense. Because it doesn't make sense.
Solo Lucky said, I was diagnosed with cancer in 2016, and I have tried all. I can get cured, but all to no avail until I saw a post of Health Forum about the herbalist man who prepared herb medication to cure all diseases. Prepared herbal medication to cure all kinds of diseases, including cancer. At first, I doubted it if it was real, but that's decided to give it a try.
Wait, is this an advertisement?
Women decided to give it a try. When I contact the herbalist via his email, he prepared a cancer herb cure and set it up via UPS delivery company. When I received
that sounds like an advertisement.
I would hope that's not an advertisement, because that's just, maybe it is. Whoever Solo Lucky is. But
thank you, Solo Lucky. We absolutely agree with some herbal remedies, but I don't know. I'm trying to become a witch doctor somewhere, somehow, and figure it out through the herbs of the nation. And
well, you're absolutely correct, because back before there was religion.
We ain't figured that out, Yolanda. Hold on. We need to take it back to out in the fields and pick out flowers and stuff first. Ain't nobody came up with that yet. And until they come up with it, like I can't even entertain it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Before there was preachers, before there was religion, and before there was doctors, we had our own healers and our own what you call them, villages. And when doctors came along, they made it seem like natural herbs and everything was bad for your health. We have to understand where the industry come in, pharmaceutical companies and doctors and all this kind of stuff. If we could cure ourselves, that we wouldn't have a need for them. We need our herbalists to come together and, give us something to heal the Black body. It's too much politics and business.
You said what?
Huh?
You said heal what?
Us.
The Black body.
The Black body.
I'll leave it alone.
Okay. I don't care what you say. We're not even gonna have that conversation. But I'm just
another day. We'll have it another day, y'all. We'll have it another day.
We understand that the cure isn't. I mean, there is. How can I put it? The money is not in the cure; it's in the prevention. So they're not gonna cure anything. They're gonna try. They're gonna tell you that prevention. They're gonna tell you. Wait a minute. I think add to stream. I think that where he go at?
Oh my goodness. We're gonna have to take some training on this system, Yolanda.
No, it was Donnie. And I thought he went. I don't know, but he's shaking his head. No, I don't add to stream. I'm trying to add you.
I don't want to be added.
Well, put that in the comment or something. Basically, we need to get back to natural healing. We need to get back to how natural herbs and everything heals the body. I think Dr. CB had the best plan of action And, you know, we need to get back to that. But every time I try to research a Dr. CB book, it gives me a book that's written by somebody else. I don't want nobody else or who did a
But Yolanda,
uh
in the meantime, we need people vaccinated. We're not doing that.
yeah, I mean, well, I mean,
Like in the
mm,
meantime, because unfortunately, God rest his soul, Dr. CB is no longer here with us. And some of the information that you may or may not find on the internet, it may be whitewashed or however you want to put it. I'm unsure. What I do know is, in the meantime, until once they come up with something, and I feel it's okay for me because I came off of medicine, so I know what it feels like to just go on natural, so. And to be vaccinated, I'm not offended because I've been vaccinated all of my life to be in a public school system that basically miseducated me. So me taking this vaccine is not going to harm me no more than what they've already put in me. There you go.
right. He said, according to the Indian, there is a herb for every illness. Absolutely. I wholeheartedly believe that, and I feel like we should be getting back to that. Because the medication that they give you is more side effects to kill you than to actually cure you.
Most
You
sometimes it
know,
works for
if you're
some, it
telling
don't work
me,
for others.
yeah, but I'm telling me that if I take this pill to get rid of migraines, but everything else goes wrong, I got a problem with that. The side effects, I have now kidney failure. Like,
Well, listen, we're not going to do that because now, some people might hear that and think that you said that that's what they said. That's
no,
how
I'm telling
misinformation.
you, before you take
Yeah,
their
so that.
medication, make sure you read all side effects.
Yeah, including their Tylenol, including their
That's what I just
Excedrin.
said. Tylenol affects the liver.
I'm saying all of it, all ibuprofen, everything that we're given, including the foods that we eat, including the waters that they call themselves, sanitizing enough for us. Like everything, you got to watch everything that we're given, and not even given because we got to pay for them to kill us slowly. So, but you got to study everything and don't and for me, I did a lot. I investigate everything. So before I was vaccinated, before I allowed them to put that into me, before I allowed my son to have it, before I allowed my grandmother, I prayed about it first. I did. That was first and foremost. And then secondly, I just gave, I'm just chancing it. Just like, if I was to travel outside this country, which I've done plenty of times, when I do that, they mandate some vaccinations. I've selected that to go out of the country. That's what I don't understand. People are selected when they feel like, I got a right to say no. Yeah, you got a right to say no, but you don't have a right. Yolanda, are you there?
I'm sorry, Dawn, I did it again.
Stop pushing buttons. Everybody have a right to say yes or no to whatever they feel, but I don't have a right for my decision to interfere in your health situations. Like if I'm saying I don't want to be vaccinated, then wear a mask and social
Donna.
distance. Can you hear me? Here we go again. Yolanda.
Donnie, I keep losing Donna when somebody calls my phone. I'm gonna have to start using another device to go on because
That
this is
probably would be
I
helpful.
can't hear you.
That probably would be helpful. You're doing good. Welcome to the network. You can't hear me. I can hear you. All y'all jacked up. How you doing, Donna?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? I'm a bit frustrated with this system. Can you hear
Can
me?
anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I can't hear y'all.
Doing just fine. Both of you doing just fine. We got you. Welcome to the network, Donna.
Thank you. Yolanda gonna have to get this together, or I'm gonna have to you gonna have to put me in the host because her phone stay too busy. She don't know how to turn her phone off. Mine is off.
Donna, we can talk about that offline. So, Donna, who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, I am God's child, highly favored. I am actually Yolanda's sister, her biological. We have the same mom and dad. We have the same fightingness. I do taxes. I have a tax office, and I'm a life coach, and I am somebody that's empowered by the struggles.
Empowered by the struggles. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to the family. How about you, Yolanda?
She's still hitting
We can
buttons.
hear you. Yolanda, don't touch the computer. Step away from the computer. Hello?
I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I can't hear y'all. I can't hear y'all.
We can hear you.
Okay. I guess, we gonna have to work on that.
We definitely.
Why don't you go out and they come back in? I'll help out.
Thank you.
My bad.
And until then, you guys, we really apologize.
Oh no, it's all good.
No, I told Yolanda, we gotta be prepared for stuff like that, because this is not a system. So that's why I wanted to make sure everything was right before we logged in.
Well, you're being baptized by fire. So we're here now. We're gonna go forward. So what will your show be about?
Frontline News. Our show is going to be about the news that no one wants to talk about. The one that people try to cover up. We're just trying to get the information out there.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
So the difference is, so of course we're not going to always agree. So we're having the discussion about COVID, being vaccinated and not vaccinated, and getting rid of some of the misinformation. Like in Maryland, we're having some situations with the governor. So we're discussing the situations as far as him lying, saying that he would shut down the state if we ever reach over 5% again. And we are 26%, and there's not a lot of people that has that information or even knows the information. Some people just don't watch the news. Some people don't want to listen. So we're out here trying to get the information out there for people to just have the information, and then you make your own educated guess as to how you want to move.
Well, I'm for getting the vaccine. I got 2 shots.
I got the shots and the booster.
Well, see, and you say the governor was lying. He said maybe he had to change what he initially, maybe he thought, he had to change his position based on new information. I don't know. I don't work for the governor.
So the new information is we're at over 26%. And the old information was he wouldn't go over 5% positivity rate. So, are we playing the word game? Should I not call it a lie?
Yes.
Should I call it a tiny fib? Should I call it he made a statement that he backtracked on? What should I call it?
I don't work for the governor, and
because I'm not politically correct at this. That to me, I was taught was a lie. That's a lie.
Well, if you say something that's not true, that's a lie. But if you say something and then you get new information, then you got to go back and give up the new information. So,
but the new information is we have a higher positivity rate. That's what's new. We have a higher positivity rate, and the Maryland is still. You still have counties that's walking around with no mask on, and I live in one of them. They walk in stores with no mask on. Right. I sit and they look at me like I'm strange.
Right.
Because I wear a mask.
Donna. Are you madder at those people than the governor?
I am not. I can't say mad. I'm confused.
When I'm in line in the store and somebody impedes my 6 feet space, yeah, I'm mad.
But see, listen, because
hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. They got dots on the floor every 6 feet. I'm standing on my dot. But homeboy or homegirl, they breathing down your neck, and you turn around and look at them. And so now I don't stand in line facing straight ahead. I turn to the side because I'm watching. As I'm moving to the right, I'm looking to the left. Kind of like stay over there with your face.
Can I present something to you though?
All I'm saying, all I'm getting to, Donna, is that everybody plays a role in this.
Exactly.
You got people out here doing some crazy behavior, infecting their own families, taking it home because they want a few minutes of fun.
Whatever, yeah.
Dr. Zolikoff has said on this network that family is the #1 carrier.
It is. And I mean, it's no doubt. And we're all accountable for our actions. We are all accountable. Some people are placed in that position through no fault of their own, because some people have to go out there to work. Some people have to, unfortunately, the schools are still going. So some people have to go out in the school. So you have a lot of people that live like, well, I got to go out there to work, so I might as well go out there for fun. Instead of shutting it down, limiting movement for a certain amount of time, and then opening back up. With nobody wants to be held back. Nobody. However, I want to live, and I want my family to live. And some people recover from it, some people don't. They don't know about the long-term effects. But I feel like I had it. I've never been diagnosed with it. However, I feel like I completely have brain fog almost every day. And me, I'm an overthinker, so the brain fog from this mess makes me feel like, it's something else within that stuff.
Right, but let me get to this, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough job being the governor or the mayor right now, because this is something that you don't go to school for.
Mm-mm.
It came out of nowhere, caught everybody with their pants down.
Mm-hmm.
And generally speaking, people probably are doing the best that they know how. Jack Young, when he was mayor, to me, he made a lot of mistakes. But one thing he did not make a mistake on was being serious about COVID. Mm-hmm. That he did, and he did very well. To the current mayor's credit, he certainly bucked on Hogan for the sake of keeping things shut down. Now, there's another perspective, and it's hard for a lot of people to swallow this one. The businesses got to open in order to make money. If they don't open, they don't make money.
But what's more important, their money or my life? What's more important? Yeah, and I'd like to offer you this, Mr. Glover. Listen, I'd like to offer you this. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we're all human. We are all human. They didn't get a book that wasn't none of this written. Even us being parents, even sometimes being a teacher, even sometimes being a nurse, even sometimes being a doctor. However, we all are adults at one point in time, and we are all held accountable by every decision we make. So if I'm making decisions for everybody, or if I'm limiting my decisions for myself and my family, that's the position I'm in. But if I'm making the decision as a whole and safety wise, it makes, of course, it's not going to make money, and it's going to affect some businesses. However, we got over 800,000 lives lost in the United States alone. That's 800,000 empty seats from Thanksgiving, from Christmases, from birthday parties. People have lost whole sets of family members. Can you imagine the trauma behind that we're not even thinking about, because we're still trying to figure out if people want to get vaccinated?
Right.
That's a problem.
But I'm trying to stay in the solution. I mean, you're identifying some of the many problems with this, the different angles. But now what? What do we leave listeners with? What's the solution?
My solution, just like, opinions, it's opinion. My solution is we got to shut things down again. Like, you give people the opportunity to bring their stuff in. Jobs have to be shut down, except for, I'm not saying essential workers, including restaurants. I'm saying they all shut down. We got to bring our food home and prepare for however long we need to shut it down, maybe 7 to 10 days, because I don't agree with this 5-day stuff. And we got to bring it to a minimum. Like, you got China that's shutting down cities over there. Like, we don't even want to affect our dollar. But what about our life? What about our mental health from losing everybody that loves us? Like, people are losing their matriarch. What happens in that family?
Their family is going to go through some serious changes. And it's happening across the board. Black, white, Asian, Latino, rich, poor, Jew, Gentile, everybody. Everybody's dealing with it. Everybody out here is dealing with COVID. Yolanda, I'm going to step on out and let you finish on up your thoughts, but welcome to the network. You're your no-speaking self.
You keep your finger off the, don't touch your phone at all no more. Don't answer nothing.
I did
Don't
not do
answer no
that.
calls. Don't answer no texts. Don't read nothing except what's on your screen.
No, when my phone rang, it kept knocking it off. That I had nothing to do with that. Like I said, I'm gonna have to start using another device, knowing that I get a lot of phone calls from people. But thank you so much, Donnie. You're a blessing as always, and we love to be a part of the family. I want to thank you for actually inviting us in, and everybody else that gave us warm welcomes of emails of being invited in. We like to collaborate with everybody because, just like you said, that we all bring a different set um, to news, to this fight out in the street. We have to stop asking for them to have make a seat at their table. That's why I always consider myself a revolutionary, because I don't want to sit at your table. I want to break your table and build my own and make you come sit at my table. So we got to stop asking for stuff and start demanding it, especially when it comes down to us protecting our children as far as COVID. When they made it a business that your child had to go to school. At first, Donna, it's mighty funny. At first, remember when we wasn't allowed to go to school?
And
Now
I
we're
had a good.
mandated to send our children to school.
Mm-hmm.
And now because they get almost $16,000 per child,
They want
per
everybody there,
student.
including the dead, including deceased and locked up students. They gonna have everybody there then. When you have
Right.
a
So we
school that
need
have 130 students on roll, but only 30 students there, there's a problem.
absolutely,
We're gonna have to have a
absolutely.
whole show about that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that need to be our next thing, because when we file this class action lawsuit, we need everybody to jump on board, every taxpayer to jump on board with, because our money is being misappropriated, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
fair to the children. You paying millions of dollars. This money could have went towards something else, and then for you to sit up there and make the decision for us, um, you know, we only can govern over top our children when it comes down to them showing off in school. But when it comes down to preparing for their education, we have no say so.
Mm-hmm.
The money should follow the child. If I don't want my child to go to a certain school, I should not be forced to send my child to that school. But we don't
Including
want to
them
speak.
zone schools that's
Boy,
failing them.
yeah, no, even when we do show up to school board meetings, like now, we're not even allowed to speak.
You can't even
We
speak.
have to bully our way in to actually say something. We done sat in all these meetings and we were not allowed to say anything, especially with Robert Stokes, when he sat up there and told us that we could not speak against the Board of Education on Santa Lisa's. What does that
They
even look
mute
like?
you. We like that again. They try to take our voice. They try to take our voice, but we're an organization that we can't be. Our voice can't be taken. So unless God takes this throat chakra, I'm gonna speak. I don't care who
We
don't
will
like it.
not be silenced. That's the thing. And that's what
Hmm.
we have to stand for something. In the famous words of one of those leaders, I think it was Martin Luther King. I don't remember who it was. Stand for something or keep falling for anything. Why do we keep falling? And why do we have to keep This is like a relationship. This is like a relationship. Why are we the only ones that's leaving and have to start over and rebuild and this, that, and the third? No, sir.
Because
No,
they
sir.
trained us that way. They failed our parents, they failed our grandparents, they failed us, they failing our children, they're gonna fail out, they failing our grandkids. Like this is a system that nobody talks about because everybody think it's bigger than, everybody feel like it's too big to battle. But if you don't start and you don't like if you're too fearful to start it, then what happens? But it continues. I will not allow this to happen to my grandkids. I will not allow this to happen to my grandkids' kids. The buck stops here. So we all are accountable for everything. Like we are all at fault. All of us. Every parent that moved away to a different county. Every parent that didn't say anything because that's that bad Ray kid. Sorry, Ray. Every parent that that wanted to discipline their kid, but they was too scared because they may get locked up. Like every parent that voice was taken, unless their kid was bad in school, they couldn't even speak up. But then when they get angry enough, but it's going to continue unless we continue.
Our
What we doing?
silence, and I have to let people know, your silence is consent, regardless of whether you want to join this battle or not. If you
Mhm.
don't say anything, that looks like a win for them and not us. When we're the only ones suffering, and taxes going to go up and everything again, because the new minimum wage amount just was $12.50 just hit January the 1st. But yet we say nothing. Your silence is consent. When you
And what
don't
is it?
vote, they still win. That's
And what
still
is it? Is
silence.
educational what, Yolanda? Is educational what?
Educational homicide. And I'm going to
Y'all
keep
killed
saying
them.
it.
Y'all
I'm going to
killed
keep
them.
saying it.
Mm-hmm.
We creating a situation where we keep letting these people do educational homicide, and then we don't teach our children the basic needs to
Skills.
yeah, the basic skills to even survive. But we're telling them that it's okay for you to go sit in somebody's classroom and learn their education when we don't know nothing about ours. That's how they're able to take everything from us, because we don't know who we are. Once we stand up and know who we are, then guess what? We become the dominant species, because now we know we can no longer walk in silence nor darkness. Once it's revealed to you, and when they show you who they are, take them at their word, and they show you that they're racist, and they show you that they put black people on these front line, on this front, and they just pull up the strings. They show it to you. They show it to you. But yet you still refuse. You still refuse to take them at their word. Oh, he's a nice guy.
Yolanda, but
Let's
you gotta
do this.
understand, if people don't understand that we're still in slavery, people don't get the fact that we're still in slavery. We still work on their plantations. So what? We now in our own houses. Didn't they build their own sheds back then? Like it's nothing easy about the life that we live in. We're still on the plantation until people realize that you're still living there, especially here. As long as they're able to imprison this here, we'll always be slaves. And until they understand that we're slaves, until you understand that you're still a slave, you'll continue to move accordingly.
Well, you know what, the what's the name tells us that we're slaves. They say we're nothing but free slaves. They never changed that language.
Never changed it. Never changed it.
Mr. Chap Lovelace said we have the power, and they know it. That's why they distract us. Exactly. It's not a distraction until you already distracted, and they throw all these other things in to take away from the narrative of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, it started back in the 60s or the 70s when they removed the man out the household. They did it on purpose, and they still do it. They just took the noose from around our neck, put it in the criminal justice system, put it in the welfare system, and in our housing to keep the man out the household, because the man was the disciplinary.
Don't forget the school system. They put it because where did you learn to stay in line first? In school. Where did you learn to sit in order? Where did you learn to march down the hall back to back to back to back? In school. Then they march you right to the prison system or to the cemetery to line you up in order. It's made up that way. It's made up like it's a domino effect from everything that's been happening all of our lives, all the lives of a lot of our ancestors. Like the buck stops here.
We have to. You know, the one thing is so hard. I mean, you can pull everybody together except for black people, and that's just crazy to me. We don't stick and stay with nothing until it become a trend. But guess what's also a trend that I don't want to follow? Death. I don't want to follow that. And it's death in education.
Or the devil's garden.
It's death in poverty. It's death in the streets. I mean, we have to understand that these people in the streets have no love for us. So where's our common middle ground? Where is it? So, you know, our time is about up, Donna. You want to give any closing remarks? We have approximately 2-3 minutes.
We're just glad to have you on the network. I see your numbers. You looking good already.
What we looking like? Okay.
Just gotta learn the system a little bit, but you know, baptism by fire. Donna, we need some solutions, because Donna, you know, we need some solutions now.
I got some though. See, listen, I realize that you never bring up a problem unless you have some type of solution. I have some ideas that I would like to talk to certain people about. You know, all they got to do is listen, because I only know what I see. Like, you know, I'm not reading a book. I've been out here. This is the life that I live every day. You know, I've grown up in these neighborhoods that's going through the same dysfunctions. This is where I'm from. And unless you hear what I'm saying, you'll never get it.
Where you from? Over west?
Yeah, Cherry Hill, West Baltimore, you know, White Lock, all of that, yeah.
Well, this might be a shock to you, Donnie, but that's my sister. We have the same mother and the same father.
I called it the first time. Let me ask you this. What's next door to Cherry Hill?
Brooklyn, Westport.
Westport. Do anybody from Cherry Hill ever get stuck up in Westport?
Did they get stuck up?
Do anybody from Cherry Hill typically get stuck up in Westport?
I mean, it's been known to happen.
I don't know why he asked that question.
I don't either.
We were having
it's just like Cherry Hill. People got stuck up in Cherry Hill. People got stuck up in Brooklyn. People get stuck up. People get stuck up at the White House.
You messed up the whole joke. Okay, fine. but people in Cherry Hill, they call themselves rich.
Wow.
Raised in Cherry Hill.
That is true. But rich stands for raised in Cherry Hill.
Raised in Cherry Hill. Rich.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're rich.
Yeah.
No doubt. You got a lot of important Black history out there, including Westport with the Mount Auburn Cemetery.
I know. Yeah. My mother-in-law is buried in Mount Vernon, in that cemetery over there.
So we welcome you to the show, to the network. Dave is coming on next. Dave Lovelace and Quita Chansey, maybe even Dason Brooks. But we glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you next Monday.
See you next week.